So here's a question for guys. What would you do if a woman physically assaulted you? And to be more specific, what would you do if a woman attacked you with a knife and stabbed you? This was always a hypothetical question until a month ago when I found out firsthand. If you've seen my videos, you know that this happened on July 3rd. A woman attacked me and stabbed me. These are the pictures. And the cut on the neck doesn't look that bad, but the doctor said it was an inch away from killing me. If it was just an inch over, I'd be dead right now. And so I was forced to find out what would I do if a woman assaulted me in public. And I can tell you 100%, I've had fights with men bigger than me, okay? And having a physical altercation with a woman is so much worse. I would much rather get attacked by a man, a large man, than by a woman who was smaller than me. It was the most uncomfortable experience of my entire life. Let me tell you what happened the day after. On the next day, I go to the hospital to get looked at and to get staples for the cuts. When I got back to my apartment, it's about 6 p.m. on July 4th, so it's less than 24 hours after getting stabbed. I saw there was a little like July 4th barbecue, like get together, and everyone had masks and everyone was social distancing, so don't worry about that. So I go up and I introduce myself, but of course everybody saw what happened the night before. I mean, I was bloody on the streets, the police came and everything happened, it was crazy. So I was expecting people to ask me about it, of course. And so this woman says, hey, a woman I don't know. She doesn't live in my building, but she lives on my street. So she's on that street. She says, oh, so what happened last night? We saw what happened. What was going on? I says, yeah, it was totally crazy. Kind of thinking that they're just asking how I am and they're kind of being sympathetic. But then this is what she says. She says, oh, so you like punching girls in the face? And for a moment, I had to kind of like process like what I just heard. Like, I had literally just gotten out of the Uber from the hospital. I just had the fresh staples in my arm. And then she said again, yeah, you like hitting girls in the face? I was like, excuse me? And then she's like, oh yeah, we saw, and then her and her boyfriend start really coming at me. Like, oh yeah, we saw you punched a woman, we saw the whole thing. First of all, they did not see the whole thing. Okay, the woman, if you watch the video that I made the day after, which I put in the link below, she followed us twice. It was me and some other neighbors. She followed us twice in her car. And she got out of her car and she attacked us. And then she drove and she followed us. We were on foot walking back home. She was following us in her car. She followed us to our home. And that's where the stabbing happened. And now I'm getting shamed. I'm getting bullied. Really, I think she was trying to get the men of the party to fight me or to assault me because I pushed her away. First of all, it was not a punch. It was a push because I was literally getting stabbed. I was getting hurt. So because I defend myself, because I don't want to die or get a scar on my face or lose an eye, I like hitting girls in the face. I just couldn't really believe like what I was hearing. Like the entitlement and just like the sexism of that. Like I'm wrong for hitting women, which I didn't even do, because I pushed away someone who was stabbing me. That was like a kind of a major reality check. Like, oh wow, this is how society thinks. And there were some really great women in my neighborhood who supported me. But now I think like, is this kind of the attitude that like radical, like the more extreme parts of feminism? And I've said in videos before, I don't think all feminists are extreme. And there's a lot of feminists that I would probably mostly agree with. But those extreme feminists definitely do exist. And especially on social media, I think that right now, when it comes to social politics, social justice, feminism, men's rights, Republican, Democrat, whatever, people are kind of in a crazy kind of frenzy state. Sorry for the pause. But yeah, everyone's in kind of a frenzy state. There's just a lot of tension, and there's a lot of toxicity and a lot of extremism, and that's sort of becoming I hate to say it, but almost the new normal states. And remember, I put a link to the 2 videos I made right after the event. When she was stabbing me, when she was assaulting me, she kept calling me an evil white man. An evil white man were her words. Now, the woman was obviously crazy or drunk or high or something. I don't think she's like a normal representation of, anyone. But at the same time, where did those ideas come from? Where did those ideas come from? And just so it's very clear, I absolutely am not saying that, oh, this only happens to men or white men. I mean, I know that all kinds of crazy stuff is going on. But this is the thing that happened to me. And this is the thing that I have on my mind. Because I was an inch away from dying. So what bothered me more, though, about that story wasn't even so much being assaulted. It was how people reacted the next day. Like that woman kind of attacking me because I defended myself. And what was interesting was how the men at the party reacted. At the very beginning, they all kind of they were taking that woman's side, and they were kind of coming at me as well, but I could sort of tell they didn't really agree with her, and they were sort of confused as to what they were supposed to say. And very shortly, I stood my ground. Again, sorry for the pause, but I stood my ground, and very shortly after that, they invited me into the party for food and for drinks. Which, if you found someone that objectionable, like, oh, he's a woman beater, we don't like this guy, and you met him 10 minutes ago, you wouldn't invite him to your party to share your food and share your drinks. So I could tell that the guys at the party were on my side. Like, secretly, they completely agreed with me because they saw the wounds. They saw that I was stabbed, and they saw that I was bleeding. And they don't want that to happen to them. But this woman and her boyfriend, to be fair, were both coming at me for defending myself because I didn't want to get stabbed. I didn't want to be killed. And because I'm a man, I was in the wrong. So I had to... what was so uncomfortable about this altercation, which I won't even call it a fight, because it was me going 10%, just basically blocking, pushing her away, was like the sense of... like the reason why I would rather have to fight a large man than a woman who's smaller than me is because when I was in the middle of this thing and I was, trying to block her punches and stabs, I had to be more, in my mind, I wasn't thinking, how do I protect myself? I was thinking, how do I not get in trouble for this? Like, I had to be more concerned with the comfort of my attacker than my own safety. And it's been weird ever since. Like, every time now I'm out in public, I'm reminded, 50% of the population can attack you with a weapon and almost kill you. And a lot of people will take their side just because of your gender and their gender. So it used to always be something I would think about, like in these videos, what if a woman attacks a man? And then it actually happens. And I can tell you, it's not fun. And when I read these stories now, the stories like, the stuff I post about men being stabbed by their girlfriends in domestic violence cases, and then she only gets like community service or probation or something. Now I know what being stabbed is like. And trust me, that's not fun either.